when message in Indonesia bahasa.
Wow, you have not prepared me for this. You have not prepared me for this. In bahasa. Oh, okay. Coba. Coba motor listrik. Okay, around the world is meeting IBBC in Bandung, electric motorcycle.
Oke, teman-teman, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Baik, untuk singkat waktu kita mulai acara ini. Alhamdulillah teman kita Om Roman,
Kang
Roman.
Ini siapa ini Kang? Ketemu dengan akang-akang ya. Akang-akang yang jauh, yang habis jalan-jalan keliling dunia. Kita sambut Kang Roman ya. Please welcome to Bandung.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, hi. Hi everybody. Yeah, I was not expecting this. I thought that we just take bikes and go for a ride. But it's great that we have a session in a very nice place. So yeah, thank you for organizing this, and let's do the chat or whatever we do.
Okay. Sit down please.
I sit there?
Yes.
Can you see me there?
Yes.
Okay.
Nah, ini Kang Roman ini adalah orang pertama yang keliling dunia menggunakan motor listrik. Kalau menggunakan motor bensin sudah biasa, tapi kalau menggunakan motor listrik ini luar biasa. Dan baru pertama saya lihat di manapun belum ada. Nah, hari ini kita akan ngobrol bareng dengan Kang Roman mengenai apa namanya ya, pengalamannya mengenai motor listrik. Hai, good morning.
Hey, can you? I don't need this mic,
No,
right?
not.
Okay, yeah. You can hear me. I am. Yeah. Okay, exactly. I mean, I'm almost finished, right? I'm in Bandung now, which is very close to Jakarta, which is the end of my journey because that's where I started the whole journey around the world. So yeah, almost done.
Roman, I want to ask you. Can you introduce yourself? Who are you?
I'm just a normal guy, okay? So I'm just a guy, maybe like you, who just like electric bikes. But okay, so my name is Roman. I am asli dari Slovakia, sudah tinggal di Indonesia 5-4 tahun. So you know, I lived many places in my life, and I always lived in places where I had car. And I moved around in a car. And when I came to Indonesia and I was living in Jakarta, I was super frustrated being stuck in a traffic, right? It's much worse than here even. And I was thinking maybe I should try to use a motorcycle because this is what people do, right? And you get faster around on a motorcycle. So for the first time in my life, I never had motorcycle before. For the first time in my life, I said, okay, I will try the motorcycle. And by a sheer luck, I got an electric one. Like many of you, I just wanted to try, right? I just wanted to see like, what are these electric bikes, right? It's a new thing. So I got an electric motorcycle and I just loved it. And it completely changed my life. I was so happy being able to go further in Jakarta without traffic all the time. And also I realized that it's not really only about that, yeah, it's very green and whatever, but it's really fun. It's quiet, which is very nice. I can talk to my passenger. It's very agile, right?
Yes.
On a green light, I'm gone where everybody is just waking up. And it's just also no vibrations and anything. So for example, now I'm touring around the whole world. I don't have a headache, like everybody has to wear earplugs when they do it. I don't have to do it. I had a broken leg, which is still a little bit broken, but it's healing. But first time today, I don't have the brace. But I could ride with a broken leg because there is no vibration. So anyway, so I just started to realize it's just much better than the normal traditional motorcycle. But I just felt that I'm the only one who knows about this. I'm the only one who knows about this. Nobody else, they still think like these electric bikes is just some, batteries, they are complicated, that cannot charge, like what do you do? So no one knew about it. So I was like, how can I actually make people realize that these electric motorcycles are already so good that they are ready to be used by everybody? And especially in Indonesia, you see that government is promoting, right? They are saying, let's put some targets, this is a good thing for Indonesia. You see that businesses are also already coming up with some products, right? There are companies, you have gases all the time, you have Alva guys, a lot of polytrons, everything. So businesses are also putting products. What is missing is still this market and people being interested, right? So they're like still having these old ideas about, yeah, but I cannot charge it, and it's difficult to, yeah, exactly. So I said, okay, so I need to do some practical example what is possible with these electric bikes today, which makes everybody to be already confident, yeah, this is really good. So, and that's what I thought, that like, what is the example of some sort of extreme use case, right? What's the extreme use case? Now, of course, you go around the whole world, right? So this is what I did. This is what I decided to do. And, it's crazy to say, this is also what I have done. I mean, now I'm sitting here almost, yeah, it's like 1-2 days. So, I was like this talking months ago in Jakarta about this idea, which I was also not 100% sure about.
You're not sure?
Well, you never know, because no one has done this before. Still I got a new bike from US. It was even a new model. I didn't have to try time to test it. I did 500 kilometers on that bike over the weekend in West Java, and then I embarked on 40,000 kilometers around the whole world. So I had a lot of trust in that bike. So yeah, so that is the sort of the origin of my journey.
Origin motorcycle is.
Yeah, how it all came to be, like how I got into the motorcycles, electric motorcycles, and even why I'm doing this whole. Why I have done, actually. This is a great feeling when you are not only talking about something you want to do, then you are doing it, and then suddenly you talk about that you have done it. It's an amazing feeling.
It's amazing. It's amazing for me when you find a charging station.
Yeah.
Well,
and this is the fundamental myth or misconception. Everybody thinks that electric vehicles are complicated because they think about cars, right? Because electric vehicles come from the Western world where everybody is driving cars. Yeah. So everything is about it. Yes, cars need charging station. For motorcycle, you don't need any special charging. You can charge from any normal power socket everywhere. So I was charging my bike in variety of locations. Typically, I just go to the hotel during night, and in a parking lot or somewhere there is a power socket. On my way, I would stop, you can stop at Indomaret. Here they have a socket, but you can stop. When I was in some remote places like Kazakhstan or somewhere, I would even be in some village and just ask some people in their house.
Can I charge?
So you can charge. So the thing with motorcycle is that you can charge it in your home. Like your phone, when you charge your phone during night, you charge your motorcycle, which then means that in the morning, if you have a fully charged bike and you can do 100, 200 kilometers, for uses in the city, if you live in some Indonesian city or something, you will not make 100 kilometers in a day. So it will last you for several days. So really, it's just very simple to use. There is no complexity in charging, nothing like that. I always said at the beginning, charging no problemo. It's really like that. I never had a problem with charging on my journey. I never ran out of the battery, and I could find a socket everywhere. And I was in some remote places, guys. I crossed central Australia, Outback, if any of you know. It's like 3,000 kilometers from Adelaide to the Darwin in the north. There is just a red, empty. I was there and I crossed that as well. I crossed Kazakhstan, which is hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, just steppes and nothing. So I was in some fairly remote places and I could find a plug always.
So, no problem with charging ya. Jadi Sobat KW, motor listrik chargernya charger biasa, colokan listrik biasa dimanapun itu bisa ngecas. Seperti disampaikan, mau di rumah orang, di Indomaret, Alfamart, itu mudah untuk ngecas ya. Jadi no problem selama perjalanan keliling dunia ini, tidak susah untuk mencari tempat ngecas. Kita tanya jarak tempuh kendaraannya itu berapa kilometer? How long your battery motorcycle?
Well, I am doing an extreme use case, right? So of course I had to take also sort of like extreme bike. My bike is standard motorcycle. I didn't make any modifications, nothing. It has a standard battery, nothing else. So my bike, if I fully charge it, I can do around 250 kilometers, 300. In Indonesia, 300 because you go slow. It depends, right? If you're on a highway, you do less. But but that is already standard motorcycle. Standard. Anybody can buy. Yeah. But understand that I had to have a very good bike to do this. But it means that any bike which is today already on the market is good enough for cities, for the daily use.
Tuh, jarak ini standar, motornya standar ya. 240 sampai 300. 240 sampai 300. Kita nggak ada yang punya ya. We don't have that motorcycle.
But again, let me emphasize this. I had to take the best bike available, right? It doesn't mean that everybody needs the best bike available. If you can do with this bike around the whole world, going in the middle of desert, then with the ordinary motorcycle, which has 100-kilometer range, I did before this trip, I just went on my motorcycle, which has 100-kilometer range. I went from Jakarta to Bali, already into 2021. I was the first guy riding electric bike from Jakarta to Bali. I did it with the bike 100-kilometer range. So if you have something which has around 100 kilometers, that is already good for 95% of use cases how people are using bike, right? You go to you commute, so that's why. So my bike is extreme because of course if you want to, you need to take the best one to do this.
Ini motor segala medan ya ceritanya ya. Jadi Sobat KW kalau pengen keliling kayak Kang Norman ya motornya seperti inilah, minimal gitu ya. And then can you share some most memorable and exciting experience about yours?
Yeah, look, this is not like a joyride. Everybody thinks like, there's this guy and he's enjoying riding around the world. No, it's tough. You have always bad weather, you have crazy procedures between countries and stuff. But I think the most memorable is the achievement you have, right? So if you manage to achieve something that's the most memorable, which means that also the most difficult moments are the most memorable. So probably the most difficult on this journey was Kazakhstan. It was really 1,000 kilometers in the middle of steppe. There is absolutely nothing. I was just sleeping at some truck stop places. And just go for days in a flat land without any vegetation, without anything, with pretty tough weather sometimes, like crazy rains. You have of course nowhere to hide, nothing. And there I had to be very creative in finding a power plug. Yeah. I could. Once I was very lucky. There was like a train a rail, and there was like some service station there, and they had electricity. So they have this big panel to control trains. And I was like, and there was a power socket there, and I was really trying to convince, like, can I plug my bike? And they say, yeah, but what if suddenly this whole thing stops working? I said, no, it will be fine. but actually that it takes some amount of energy. So even if there is like a low kilowatt, you can actually flip the circuit breaker, which I did a few times on my journey. So even myself, I was not 100% convinced that I will not disrupt the railway system in Kazakhstan, but fortunately it worked. So I could find it. But so that one was definitely felt unique experience. That was really memorable. And maybe the other one, in the middle of Australian outback, there is this big red rock. It's called Uluru. It's like you have 250 kilometer hops between like some houses. So it took me like 4 days to get there on these 250 kilometer hops. And it's a middle, of course no electric motorcycle was there before, I was there first, but it's very magical magical place in the middle of Australian outback. So that was also maybe quite memorable to be there on electric bike. A funny story from there. So there is a hotel close to that Uluru. I stayed in that hotel and I go to the reception and I look at the guy and it's like, orang Indonesia? And he said, yes. So there are a couple Indonesians working in Australia. That's the typical. So the guy is in Indonesia. So I tell him, come with me. And I took him outside and I show him my bike. Like, look at this bike. And he looks, and I have an Indonesian number plate. And he look at it like, what is this bike from Indonesia doing in the middle of Australian outback? So he was very surprised. So probably that one was the other one.
Tuh, memori sangat itu ya, karena jaraknya jauh banget gitu kan. Terus kemudian mau ngecas di tempat apa tadi ya? Kereta ya. Berani nggak ya kita ya? Nah, itu kan perjalanan jauh banget. Tadi katanya nggak ada rumah, jaraknya jauh. Nah, pertanyaan kalau teman-teman semua pasti mikir balik kanan nggak ya ini ya? Nah, I want to ask you, this moment, like you giving up to end this journey?
No. And it's very easy because I have a very clear purpose. I know that I do this as I told you at the beginning, to show people that these bikes are already good. And I do it for a reason. It's my personal project. I don't have any sponsors. I am not making YouTube videos to make money out of it, nothing. I don't monetize any content. So I can be completely authentic. Because there were some entertainment products which were about electric vehicles, and because they are trying to monetize that entertainment, they make dramas, they make, like, if you have seen Long Way Up, like 5%, you almost make it.
Only 5%.
Yeah. So they make drama around it because they want viewership and all of that. My project, I'm completely authentic. Guys, I didn't have any problem. On my journey, sorry, it's boring, I didn't have any problem with the bike. Nothing, I only changed tires and brake pads and everything. So no problems with that, no maintenance, other than that, no trouble. So it was trouble-free, never ran out of battery. Of course, I had to have proper planning and all of that, but so I do it like completely authentic product. So, but also I do it for a reason of this purpose. I had difficult moments. Just to a different country, and I have a Slovak passport. My bike is registered in Indonesia. At some borders, it was very difficult for them to manage this. So I had some moments where I was afraid that I cannot continue my journey because of some administrative problem. In the US, they made a mistake. They imported my motorcycle permanently. So when I wanted to leave US, they say you cannot. It's already in US permanently. I was like, how can I import? I'm not even US citizen. How could you import it permanently? But I say you cannot. So you had these moments where I really felt like, okay, this is tough. Or I was in Laos. I got lost in some mountain. It was raining. I dropped my bike for the first time. And I was like really feeling like, wow, this is tough, yeah. But if you know why you are doing things, then I always reminded myself why I'm doing this. And it might sound as a cliche, it is not. It really, in those tough moments when it's only you, yourself, and your purpose, and difficult moment, that purpose will help to overcome that difficult moment. So I always said, like, when I could not get into Thailand. It's my favorite story, and I really had to do some extreme things to get into Thailand. Yeah. They didn't want me. If you have Indonesian registered vehicle and you want to enter Thailand, they will not let you. You need a special permit from the government, from the Ministry of Transport. It's because there are not many Indonesian vehicles. Anyway, so what I want to say is that you have to take some extreme measures, but there is no other way. It's like I already spent so much time preparations. It was very long preparation. It was impossible that I will not continue. And that was the mindset. So if there was any obstacle, you are like, I don't care. I need to commit a crime. It's like, you have to do it. But you do something which you know that is... And the crime was an extreme, they just make it fun. But you are like, if you are clear on your purpose, there is like, not achieving it is not an option. It's like, no. And then you just, you do whatever you need to do.
Nah tuh Sobat KW, kalau mau jalan jauh, planningnya harus kuat ya. Ini pun planningnya kuat, masih ada masalah big problem. Thailand tadi. harus izin ke sana, ke sini mau masuk kemanapun. Jadi kalau mau keluar negeri lebih planning lebih bagus, apalagi dalam negeri. Dalam negeri dulu lah ya. Kalau mau jangan keluar negeri dulu kalau pakai itu. Dalam negeri dulu, cobain dulu dari Sabang sampai Merauke naik motor listrik, gimana rasanya?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to say one more thing, and then maybe we can start wrapping.
Yes.
Also, what is interesting experience from this, that in our life we work always with someone. Like you have your job and you have your colleagues, and you do things, but never really you do something yourself. Like it's really rarely to say if you do something at work, like I really did this, because there is always, you know, your company had something, there are some colleagues which help you and everything. This was first time in my life experience that I really did everything alone, just myself. I was doing everything. Administration, preparation. I had a help for very nice friends in Jakarta, a company called Selamat, who were helping me with like communication and stuff. But everything around, like the journey and everything, I was doing myself. And this is like you really realize that feeling when you can really say that I did this. Like you did everything end to end. This is first time in my life. I'm normal guy, I have a job, right? I had to make money to save and be able to do this journey. But it's really like, also even in work, it's always someone a little bit helping you. Here suddenly it's just only you and yourself. And now I have really understanding for people who do things themselves, such as if someone climbs a mountain. You are like alone and you climb some mountain. No one has climbed before. And you have to find your route, you have to get there, and it's really just you. You know, so there are these people who are individuals, so you get more understanding for an individual achievement. And it is very interesting learning for me, because I think that's also very important. Because I think today, especially, you know, people in large corporates and everything, there is a lot of freeloading and people just, you know, go with the flow. It's very important to look at an individual, like what you yourself can really do and achieve, also in a work environment. And this is something I'm taking with me to my, you know, to my career. So we are all like teams and we work together. That's very nice. But also some people work less and some more. Really, it's important what an individual can achieve when they are left by themselves and really, you know, deal with everything. So it's a great. I'm not saying that now everybody has to take electric that.
Ke Jakarta, Bali aja susah ya. And then, what's your plan after finish this?
Well, so I took sort of an unpaid leave from my work, so I'm going back to work.
Oh.
So back to life. Of course, this is not like something transformative, right? It's not like you suddenly become a different person. No, because it's you do this already because you are a certain type of person, right? It's not like you are like this and suddenly you do something amazing and then you are like this. It doesn't happen because you have achieved this because you have already some. So it's not like I'm going to be a different person now or anything. What I'm definitely going to do first, continuing that mission of making people aware that electric, especially two-wheelers, yeah, in Indonesia, especially where I will continue living in Indonesia. It's my home. So just that there is higher adoption because I know that it's much better. I have seen this in China. In China, they have already banned combustion motorcycles in cities. Everything is electric there. Why? It's amazing. The livability of those cities is much better. It's very quiet. It's really great thing. So that is one thing. The second, I will probably do something around entrepreneurship and innovation in this space. You know, and the third, yeah, I will continue riding electric bikes. That's for sure. That's for sure.
The last Roman. What message do you want to share with all EV community?
With community already?
Yes, and the people of Indonesia.
Well, there are two messages because the community already guys know, right? I mean, the community it's just amazing, and I think for the community it's great that there are people around this topic have certain attributes. They are more curious, they are more innovative, etc. That's great for everybody. Yeah? So the people in these communities are typically, you know, the people which are also very necessary for the society and the nation. So I think you are a great guy. So for community, just continue, you know, making sure that other people are also understanding why electric two-wheeler is a better option than the loud. Some people even put this loud exhaust on their bikes, right? It's ridiculous. So for that, for people in Indonesia, my message is just, you know, I'm not saying like, yeah, now you have to switch, you have to ride. No, give it a try. Just give it a try. If you have a chance. Take it from your friend if he gives you, or go to some test drive. Anything, just give it a try, because it's like myself also. I was like that too. I just tried it and I was like, wow, this is great. This is great. So give it a try.
One message in Indonesia, bahasa.
Wow, you have not prepared me for this. You have not prepared me for this. In bahasa. Oh, okay. Coba. Coba motor listrik.
Oke, coba motor listrik. Jadi kalau Anda belum pengen beli, you won't have to buy a motorcycle, Anda bisa pinjem. Ya, cobain. Dan borrow your friend, borrow community ya, boleh pinjam kita ya. Jadi bisa pinjam kita, cobain dulu, baru Anda bisa ngomong. Jangan nyoba dulu tapi ngomong dulu. Nggak cocok. Nah, itu dia. Nah, Sobat KW, thank you Roman for your experience.
No, thank you for looking forward to chat with you and have a small ride here in lovely Bandung.
Oke, nah saya serahkan kembali ke Kang Indra.
Thank you. Done? Thanks. Okay, cool.
First of all, thank you for staying here in Bandung, and congratulations for your achievement.
Thank you, man.
You are one of our heroes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's right.
You just broke the barrier. You just broke the stigma that electric bike cannot travel far.
I like the word stigma. Exactly. Yeah.
You just broke our barrier. You just broke our stigma that electric bike cannot go travel far. Electric bike is relatively difficult to ride, or every obstacles that you have stigma, but you broke it. So first of all, thank you for your travel. Thank you for your story. And I just want to ask you, how did you manage to overcome the obstacle? Especially you travel for a long distance, remote places, having not much infrastructure, especially about the electricity. Can you give us a pro tips about how to do a trip? How do you divide it or segmented your trip so you can manage your battery, so you can manage your travel, and also you can drive safe?
Okay.
I see through your Instagram. I just envy you. I hope that our communities, maybe one day we could travel along with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh man, it's yeah. I'm a fairly humble guy, even like an introvert and stuff. When I hear things like these, I mean, it's just really amazing. It's first time in my life. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I really amazing people. So there are several attributes I had to control. Very good question. That I had to do some proper planning. So the first would be geography, right? I just needed to make sure that there is some point within my range where I can stop. So I had like a overall plan, my route. Then I had, let's say, a country level plan, which I look at country, how do I cross this country? And then I had a daily plan. Even in the morning, I really confirmed that, you know, can I really stop there? And it depends on a country. Some country, of course, everything is very easy because you have densely populated country. Yeah. In Kazakhstan, it's not like you go to Google Map and then you have a nice pointer there. So I was actually studying satellite images. And there was a point where there was 400 kilometers, which I could not make. But I studied the satellite image in the Google Map, and in the middle it seemed like there is a gas station or something. And I was not sure if it's really there or not. So I only got it confirmed when I got there. So there was one moment where I really didn't know, but there are several attributes I needed to take into account, right? You already know, sorry guys, can you be a little bit more quiet because then I don't hear what I'm saying to him. So there were several things I had to control. One is the elevation, right? You already know, right? In Indonesia you have mountains and stuff. So there I had to check that I don't end up with a high elevation. But the second is wind. You don't have it here in Indonesia.
Yeah, okay.
That the wind is a strong factor. When you are, for example, in the desert and there is a strong headwind, it can take easily 30% of the range, which can get you trouble. Yeah, when it was a strong open land wind or in steppe, like 60 km/h wind, 50, it takes a lot of the range. So that is the third is the temperature. So I noticed when I was riding in the US, it was cold there, almost freezing. So my battery capacity was, let's say, 5 to 10% less than, for example, in a hot country like this. So it's a temperature. And then also the other thing I wanted to control is, but I gave up, like all the rain and stuff, you cannot. At least the snow. I didn't want to ride when it's snowing, so I was even waiting for some passages over mountains for the forecast. And of course it didn't work, and I was riding in the middle of a snowstorm. So the other observation is all these weather applications and everything is just completely inaccurate. It just doesn't work. So I was even trying to see how is the day. I just gave up on it because you see it's going to be a nice day, and then you are upset that it's not. Or you see it's going to be raining and then you just feel like it's going to be raining again. So I even gave up on that. But definitely you have to control the elevations, the topology, right? The wind and temperature. Okay, but it's not for Indonesia. But if you live in a country where temperature can go below zero, you cannot charge. And I didn't know actually before I went. So if you have freezing temperature, you cannot charge these batteries. In a car, if you have a Tesla or whatever, there is a heater, so it will heat the battery, but bikes, they don't have it. So I had to control, for example, if I knew that it's going to be freezing in the night and I cannot park somewhere inside, so I had to really start charging immediately as I finished my ride when the battery is still warm. Or I had this heated jacket in the US and I put it around the battery, like a small battery there, to a little bit heat it up. And it still charges very slow. It just decreases it. So I charged normally like 1.2 kilowatts and it went down to like 0.8 or something. So these were the attributes to control, right? Obviously the distance and ability to check in advance that I can find some spot there. And it was even confirming every day before. And then these other parameters.
And by yourself, amazing.
Everything. I have like so many apps on my phone. Thank you.
Silakan ada yang lain mungkin.
Fundamental for my trip. I don't need to follow any agendas of any brands. That's why this is an electric motor. I'm using some bike.
Yeah.
And the company which makes that bike, we are friends, I visited their company, that's it. So I don't need to follow any agenda. So I'm completely authentic. I can tell you anything you ask me because I don't need to make the bike great. I don't need to make it great. I don't want to make drama like, just get new views on my YouTube so I can get another extra dollar or stuff. So that's why, people tell me, Roman, you have a positive account. It's true. I don't really people like to watch and are interested in dramas, right? It's why we watch series on Netflix. I don't, by the way. I think it's a waste of time, but people do it. So no sponsor everything. I worked. I'm not rich. People sometimes think that this is this rich bule and he can do this. No. Guys, I come from a very small city in central Slovakia. I didn't have motorcycle, we didn't have car, my parents, we were very simple, we didn't have anything. But I just worked. I was very, very cliche story. I just went to school, worked hard, went to places, did some school, worked more, and after 20 years of working, this is first time in my life where I was having a longer break from work than 2 weeks. So I was just like really wanted to do this. I did this. Well, after this I spent a lot of money. I have to go back to sitting in the office and maybe make some some as well, yeah. But I was funding it from my own everything.
Yeah, so there's a big question from ours is how much expense you from around the world?
Well, look, and I have a very simple answer for that, because you should not take that as a reference, right? Okay. Because I had to ride a big bike, which is of course not cheap. This bike is expensive.
Yeah.
But everything is big because I have also a big objective.
Okay.
So money are also big.
Yeah.
It was expensive, but it is because of the big achievement and big ambition. In reality, if you look at the people, you know, who want to do it, it would be much easier. I can tell you just one more thing. The most expensive thing was the accommodation, because I ended up waiting for my bike, waiting in big cities like New York. They lost my bike from London. For 1 week I didn't know where is my bike. And when you are sitting in these cities, in LA trying to get the bike out of US, in Sydney waiting for my bike, because in Sydney, I landed in Sydney during Christmas. They don't work for 2 weeks. Australian customs, they don't work for 2 weeks, and I was sitting in Sydney in a hotel. So what happens is that you end up waiting, paying for hotel and accommodation in expensive city. So, exactly, so, you know, 2 weeks waiting in Sydney for my bike were probably more expensive than riding across the entire Australia up to Darwin.
Yeah, all right, okay. So you want, you can...
I have already answered your question.
Big money. Big money.
Well, of course, because it's a big project. I don't know, not so crazy big. But it was a little bit more than I expected, because I was not expecting that logistic of flying my bike, and even it was on a plane, so it takes 1 day to fly it. But all the administration around it, I was not expecting that it takes weeks. I thought that you do like, and I had it prepared. I had a company in London which said they will ship it and whatever. But there are things you don't expect, like this US problem with importing, and I had to for 1 week trying to figure it out. You don't expect guys not working for 2 weeks in customs in you know, big country. So I have not factored for those. So it was over budget, as always with these things. But yeah, I could still somehow. I'm broke. No, it's okay.
You still have bike.
I would not. That bike, man. I am not like these things that you have emotional attachment to things, but it happens to you. If you are with the bike through this, of course.
After this, maybe your bike is a high failure if you want to auction. Your bike.
Yeah, maybe, actually, that's true. That is true.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That is true.
Oke, mungkin ada lagi yang mau ditanyakan.
Okay.
Mumpung ini, ada lagi.
Why it's so hot?
Tell a little bit about our history.
Yeah.
So,
Man, it's hot. Can I stand here?
Jadi, aku baca di Instagramnya dia.
Thank you.
Story-nya dia. Dan kayaknya seru gitu ya kalau ngomong sama dia gitu. Kalau bisa bicara ngomong sharing lah. Nah akhirnya aku pertama DM dulu segala macem. Terus setelah DM, kebetulan aku juga kan baru beres dari Labuan Bajo berempat. Jadi ketika aku punya video yang Labuan Bajo, aku posting tuh ke dia. Aku bilang, aku juga baru dari Labuan Bajo nih. 4 orang kita malah. Wah, dia tertarik. Wah, seru nih. Kita pasti ketemuan. Nah, dari situ awalnya kita masih ketemuan. Nah, sebenarnya aku pengennya ketemuin dia di Jakarta. Tapi Itu Juni tanggal 2 kalau nggak salah. Tapi kebetulan aku bilang gini, oke deh aku bakal jalan ke Jakarta walaupun aku tinggal di Bandung. Gue bilang gitu, wah kamu di Bandung ya? Ya udah, aku mampir ke Bandung. Nah itu, makanya ceritanya dia mampir ke Bandung sampai akhirnya kita ketemu sekarang nih. So finally we met because the first time I told you I'm gonna meet you in Jakarta, right?
Yeah.
The June the 2nd. But when I told you I live in Bandung.
Yeah, exactly. I told you I'm going to.
Ini sudah ngobrol bareng Kang Roman. Nah sekarang kita mau lihat motornya. Kita mau lihat motornya. Mana sih motor yang sudah dibawa keliling dunia? Seperti apa motornya? Pasti sobat kita penasaran motornya seperti apa. Yuk kita ikut ke depan. Nah kita mau lihat motornya kayak apa. Penasaran.
Campil lewat burung ke penyelesaian.
Belum tesnya masih ke belakang teh.
Kang Tommy, Campil masuk ke ujung berung.
Masuk ke
Panyilekan bisa ya? Kan pulang dari Campil ke Panyilekan.
Panyilekan. Oh malah muter.
Muter ya?
Oh ini ke bawah. Nah ini motornya yuk kita cek. Wah. Ini motornya nih, ini lihat nih. Ini motornya nih.
You are my big fan. I really appreciate it. I mean, many of you are, but I have only few. Sorry.
Tuh, dia motornya nih.
Should I park somewhere?
Tuh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makanya ke Indonesia, kalau di Irak jadi bom nih.
Roman, your odometer kena sih. Home. Wow, 42.000.
Yep.
Nih lihat nih. Coba kami lihat nih, 42.067 km nih. Nah.
I had 500 when I left.
Wow.
This bike came to Jakarta,
Hah?
and I had really like only one weekend to little bit like, oh, is this even working, whatever.
Nah Sobat KW, sekarang kita sudah sampai Cartil. Tuh ya, dengan beberapa unit teman-teman semuanya nih ikutan ke sini dengan Om Roman around the world ini dengan motornya. Kita ajak ke Caringin dulu, tempat dimana kita selalu mengajarkan test ride motor listrik di daerah pegunungan. Jadi kita tutupi acara hari ini. Setelah kita wawancara, akhirnya kita ajak Om Roman ke sini ke Caringin dulu, di mana bisa melihat pemandangan indahnya kota Bandung dan sekitarnya. Ini tempat ngetes motor listrik yang bukan kaleng-kaleng. Jadi sampai jumpa kesempatan, tetap di channel vlogger KW tentang kendaraan listrik. Sampai jumpa kesempatan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.